Bayou Time Sports is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System's Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Bayou Time Sports. Your host, Keith Whiteside. Thank you for joining us and very excited to have with us the champion, state champion, South Terrebonne head baseball coach, Mike Barber. Mike, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's good to be here and talk about baseball once again.
I know that's right. It's always a good time. Let's go back a little bit. Let's spend a little time going back. How many years you've been coaching and one of those things that led up to South Terrebonne winning last year?
The conclusion of last year, that was my 7th year.
Okay.
So this will start 8.
Okay.
And hopefully we have a lot more good years than bad in the future. And last year was a good run,
right.
But we know that this year we're going to restart and learn how to handle a baseball all over again, and hopefully see where it takes us.
I know it's a little different coming back as the defending champs and people that kind of got you circled on their schedule. Let's talk a little bit about what it was like to work through and how your team battled through being able to deal with so many challenges last year.
Yeah, coming off of COVID the year before, we had a great run in the semifinals.
Right.
And we kind of bad taste in our mouth there where, we had that one in the bag and let it slip through our fingers.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of momentum going into the next year, and the kids were fine, almost like a breath of fresh air.
Okay.
With COVID kind of being behind us, things were starting to return back to normal until they didn't. Until Hurricane Ida hit us and completely took, everything that we kind of knew, school-wise and lifestyle-wise. Really, a lot of these kids kind of flipped their world upside down and turned it all on its head, and we had to restart, and it was definitely a gut punch.
Yeah. What is the one thing that maybe you saw in the kids, and I don't know if you saw it early on, dealing with the recovery process and them being able to stay focused to get to and win a state championship?
Man, those kids deserve so much credit. I get emotional talking about them and how they handled it all, because they were thrown into a grown-up situation and they had no business being in that situation. They didn't deserve that. Nobody really deserves to go through anything like that.
Right.
So I get emotional talking about these kids when you look at the big picture of how they handled it. But we talked about it all the time. Every time we bring up last year, we never had to talk about mental toughness. There was a togetherness through this group that we were all experiencing this together.
Right.
With the kids, the coaches, the community.
The school,
we were
right?
all in on this together, and the only thing we could do was try to fight our way out of it. And the season wasn't necessarily, fun. We
Right.
had a lot of ups and downs. We were battling winning streaks, battling losing streaks, and then these kids caught absolute fire in the playoffs.
And they didn't play any home games, right?
No.
At your field. No home games.
No,
Everything was away.
Absolutely. We give a lot of credit to Terrebonne High and Cam Pierce for allowing us to use his facility over there, and it gave us a little peace of mind knowing that we did have a place to play. But no, this will be the first time back at our field in over a year.
And let's talk about that field. What are we looking like with regards to the facilities and where we're getting to? And I want to talk about that because I want to spend a lot of time talking about the last games that we got to watch and how incredible that was. How are the facilities right now at South Terrebonne?
They are, look, the working crew out there right now, the construction crew, they are working hard. They are doing a great job. The playing surface is beautiful. It is ready. That's one thing when the storm hit that I told myself is that, I'm going to continue to work. I'm not going to let it go to waste. That way, when it is time to come home, these kids have a place to come to. And so that is ready to go, and we're expecting, to be back on it game-wise in about 2 weeks.
Couple of weeks, ready for it. All right, Coach, I would be remiss if I didn't ask you. You use the word caught fire. Let's talk about right when you started to feel this team really knowing they could make a run. Was there a time where you saw them flip the switch?
Yeah, so funny little story. Every time we talk about it, there are stories and stories and stories
right.
that kind of resurface that we didn't talk about the time before.
Okay.
So it's hard to engulf it all into one. But
right.
There was a time when we beat Neville the first time at their place.
Okay.
And Neville was an outstanding baseball team, and they're very well coached. And we kind of did it handily to an extent. You know,
Okay.
we hit the ball well. We played all three parts of the game well, pitching, defense, and offense. And after the game, I looked at the rest of the assistant coaches and I said, look, I know this might sound funny, but somebody better knock us out soon because we're just dumb enough to win this whole thing. I said that to the other coaches,
right.
And we looked at each other after the game and went, "You're exactly right. We are just dumb enough to win this whole thing. You know, everything we've been through. What was the worst that could happen to us? We lose."
Yeah.
You know,
We've been through far worse together, right?
You know, so that's kind of what was with us the entire time, and we always would joke about it. Like, look, we're going to go up to number 2 Neville. We're going to go to a really good and crazy atmosphere in Saint Lafourche,
right?
And a team that's really, you know, kind of given it to us the last couple times.
Yeah, playing well.
And you know, we just looked at it and we make jokes. You know, that so what? What's the worst that can happen?
And what you really did, Coach, is take all the pressure off.
Yeah.
And it was wonderful. It was you call it dumb, but it was just one of those things that y'all were just maybe fortunate enough that things came together at the right time. We got a few seconds left. The last play of the game that just kind of finished everything. And how proud are you of these guys and what they accomplished?
Oh man, there's no words to describe it. I get emotional because I can't think of the things to describe it. But the last play of the game, when Shea caught that ball,
right,
and I immediately went to, okay, who do we play next? You don't believe it.
Right.
You don't believe it. And then all of a sudden you see the ball go in the air and the gloves flip and the kids are celebrating. You go, it's over.
Holy cow.
It's over. Everything is over. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was all over at that point, and now, like you said, we get to restart. Good luck this year. We're going to look forward to following South Terrebonne and everything y'all get done this year. We look forward to it, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us. All right, guys, that'll do it for this particular edition of Bayou Time Sports. Don't go anywhere. A lot more local programming right here on HTV.